All right, 3, 2, 1, go, right? So it's Thursday night. We're here, Three Crafty Bastards, with a beer review, and by we, I mean me. There's a reason behind that. This is Mr. Classic's off week. Last week we should have recorded, but I'll get into that here in a second. So I chose a beer this week that I knew was going to hopefully awaken my taste buds. And the reason why there was no beer review last week, like I posted just a beer on our page on Sunday. It was the Hopsicle, and it was okay, but I couldn't really taste it. Reason being, I ended up with COVID. So my whole household ended up with COVID. The lady, the baby, unfortunately, who's almost 6 months old. And it was really just kind of a scary time, but you know, you can't say that it's scary. It just is what it is. So unfortunately, the household ended up with COVID. We had to quarantine for 10 days after testing positive. And needless to say, one of the side effects from contracting COVID-19, if you've talked to anybody, loss of smell, loss of your taste buds. And essentially what I'm hoping to do is, I'm hoping my taste buds will like reset so I can go back to enjoying beer. Because there's so many beers in here. I've got a ton of untitled art that I'd love to review. A lot of good beer club this month, which I'll show you here shortly. And then this guy here, which is Mad Anthony. So I chose something local. Check that out. Mad Anthony's Cherry Tart, which is a kettle brewed sour ale with cherries. And they use 756 pounds of cherries in this. So if you're from Fort Wayne, you know anything about, well, actually, if you're from Indiana, because they're northern Indiana. I know there's one in Warsaw. There's another one in Auburn. There's one here in Fort Wayne, actually like right down the street from my house. So, notable brewery, man. Been around for a long time. 1998, I believe, is when Mad Anthony Brewing was established. And again, if you only have to watch one sour beer review to know how I feel about sour beers, right? Not my favorite. So I thought, I actually bought this. I bought a 4-pack. I thought, well, what better way to assess how my taste buds are really reacting after having COVID-19. Everything's okay now. You know, I did the quarantine. I'm feeling great. Just moving my way up. And fortunate, we were all fortunate in this household anyway, to not contract it and have some of the horror stories that you hear people say. You know, people hooked up on respirators and all that kind of stuff, and oxygen levels low, man. So really blessed in that aspect, but that's besides the point. You know, anybody that's gone through it, you sympathize anyway, but now you especially sympathize once you've contracted it, and it's kind of changed your way of thinking for, you know, a little while, or as long as you allow it to. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and pour this. And what I noticed off the bat is this nice cherry red color. Now, typically at this point, I'd pour a little bit of this, and then I'd be bougie about it, right? I'd hold it up to my nose. And from here, I think on a normal day, I would be able to smell that the minute I opened it from the can. I can't smell. Like, it smells a little cherry. I get like a little bit of cherry, but here's how my sense of smell has been affected. My son has some pretty horrendous poops sometimes, and unless I see him grunting and squeezing, I don't know that he's pooped his diaper because I can't smell it. Now his mom says, "Oh man, you can't smell it, it's terrible." No, I can't. So blessing and a curse, maybe? I don't know. But this beer, I'm kind of disappointed that I can't smell it the way that I would normally inhale a beer here. I do get a little bit of cherry, which leads me to believe that this thing is like super cherry. And I think what I'll do is I'll review it now, and then I'll wait a couple months. Hopefully things reset all in here, and then we can review it again. It's not bad. So where I feel like this would be incredibly tart and incredibly sour, especially with sweet cherries, it is right now, and forgive me for using this word, but mundane. Like I said, my taste buds aren't necessarily reacting the way that they normally would. Food doesn't taste the same. It's like, what is the point in eating, right? This falls under that criteria. I'm almost disappointed that I chose this beer to review tonight, simply because I know that I'm not getting the full effect of it. What I expected was, I expected it to be super tart. I expected it to give you that Martin Lawrence, that it gets you right there, right? And it's not. It's a nice, easy drink. I get a little bit of cherry. Kind of lingers a little bit. And right there where I figured the sour would be, it's not. So, there's that. So, am I really going to rate it? No, I'm not going to. Here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you that Mad Anthony does make some pretty good brew. And if you've ever been to their brewery, or if you've ever been to any liquor store in town, pretty much, or Shigs and Pits, which is owned by Mad Anthony, you can typically find some good brews there. And here's a couple of them, if my computer will act right. So the old blonde, or the Old Fort Blonde Lager, the Harry Balls Irish Stout, which if you've never had that, it's a 4.2 ABV stout. Little hints of chocolate, from what I remember. Obviously famous because it's Harry Balls, and it's especially famous on St. Patrick's Day. The Auburn Lager, which isn't a bad beer. I've had that one. The Ruby Raspberry Wheat, which is also kind of tart, but actually a really flavorful beer for being a wheat beer. I think I've only had maybe one or two raspberry wheat beers that are more flavorful than that. 6 to Midnight Session IPA. Good Karma IPA, which is right in my wheelhouse, right? And then the Mosaic Moon, which is a IPA with mosaic hops, basically 65 IBUs. And then some of the seasonal things, the seasonal beers that they do, real quick. Maybe my computer is so freaking slow. They don't do seasonal beers. Let's just say that they're not going to do seasonal beers because my computer won't pull it up. Because I'm very impatient, so I probably click like 18 times. Let's see, the Snowplowed Winter Ale, which I've had, pretty good. The Oktoberfest, which obviously is a favorite. Summer Days, which is actually a really good beer for the summer. And Jonesy and Java, which is a coffee porter, right? Yeah, it's coffee porter. Yep, English style porter. So those are some of the beers that they do seasonal. So with that being said, real quick, I picked up my beer club today, and I gotta say, lighter in the background, that here's the selection for the March Beer Club, April Beer Club, my bad. So Maine Beer Company, I've had a couple beers from them. They're actually really good. They know how to make an IPA. They make it classy, simple, plain label. It's all in the taste. It's all in the flavor right there. The Voodoo Ranger Juicy Haze IPA. I'm going to go ahead and set this right here, because that guy goes in the fridge. Nope, that's last. Daisy Cutter Pale Ale by Half Acre Beer Company in Chicago, which, if I'm not mistaken, I may have just reviewed a beer from them. I'm not sure. Maybe I posted it on Untapped. And then Sunlight Cream Ale, or Orange Vanilla Cream Ale. We got this last year in Beer Club. It's not a bad beer. It's actually a little lighter than I would prefer on the orange flavoring, or the orange cream flavoring, but it's an excellent beer for summer. If it's warm out, you definitely want to consider drinking one of these guys right here. Check that out. Bam, right? And then this one, which I'm excited to get because I thought I was going to have to buy it and it was going to be super expensive. Panther Cub, which is a porter with vanilla extract, maple syrup, and it's been aged in bourbon barrels. And if you know me and you know beer, you know I love beer that's been aged in any kind of bourbon barrel. So that's your April Beer Club. If you're not a part of the Belmont Beverage Club, you should probably go check that out, man, because it's actually a pretty good buy for like 16 bucks. They choose 6 beers for you, and you just go pick it up, man. It takes all the guesswork out. Some you like, some you don't. It's just a good way to take the guessing and the 30-minute liquor store trip because you don't know what you want to drink. This helps you out a little bit on that. What else? So there's a video of my son pooping that I have. And my lady suggested that we do something in the upcoming future with baby food and the baby. So I kind of look forward to having Micah on the beer review, not beer review, because we're not gonna be reviewing beer. Beer, baby, they're both cool, but they don't necessarily go together. But I'd love to have him on as a guest, my son on as a guest, and maybe we'll review baby food, which was the suggestion. And she was like, "Oh, you could try baby food, and you know, you could taste it, and then you could find out what it is," which I think is a terrible idea because if I eat green beans, I'm gonna yak, right? But I'm willing to do it just to have my adorable ass son on 3CB. We'll call it 3CB. We'll keep it cute for him, and just kind of include him in what's going on. So if you share this beer review or any beer review on our page, any beer review that reaches 50 shares, I will have my son on. And afterwards, I will post the video of him taking a dump today, which is absolutely adorable. I never thought I would say that, but it is. His grunt face is amazing. So with that being said, plug time. Check out Juan Cordero, Mr. Brews and Views 1.1, a.k.a. Juan Cordero Jr., a.k.a. Juan Cordero, a.k.a. John Smith, and you can check him out, Brews and Views 1.1, on any streaming platform service. He's typically putting his shows up on Thursday. I don't know if he released today. I didn't see it on Facebook, but he's on Facebook, Instagram. He posts on Snapchat. Go check that guy out. Pull Up Port Podcast. They had a technicality last week, but they're back up this week. If you're friends with me, then you've seen them because I share them on my page every time they drop. But go check out Leo Mills and Austin Green on Pull Up Port Podcast. We were fortunate enough the last time we did get to hang out to have Josh Parker in the house over here. We had a little impromptu jam session. We enjoyed some drinks, man, but he's really doing his thing down in Wabash with Unique Beats Radio, Unique Beats LLC. He's doing everything from having guests in. He has open mic night. He's got shows, top 10 shows, podcasts, all that kind of stuff. So go check him out as well. And finally, Three Crafted Bastards. You can check us out on Facebook. You can check us out on YouTube. There's new YouTube videos up. So, and they're from last year because I've been slacking, like super slacking. Once we found out we were pregnant, man, I just kind of quit doing everything. But now we're back. We're pushing videos through YouTube like Daddy-O's, man. And you can go check those out as well. With that being said, here's to the beer that I can't taste. Stay safe. Stay crafty. You made it to Thursday. Cheers.